Hello and welcome. I'm Saeed from StoryPlanet.net. Dive right into the essence of the most captivating books without reading them cover to cover. Whether you're on the go, at the gym, or just relaxing at home, we offer you a unique and enriching listening experience. Today, we are exploring the book Strangers to Ourselves, a creation by Rachel Aviv. Strangers to Ourselves, 2022, is a compilation of stories that challenge traditional perspectives on mental illness, illuminating the individuals beyond their diagnoses and showcasing the universal thread of humanity that binds us. Before we delve into these revelations, it's interesting to note that Rachel Aviv, a writer and author, is a staff writer at The New Yorker. She has received awards for her creative nonfiction, such as the 2020 Whiting Award. Her debut book, Strangers to Ourselves, was featured in the New York Times list of the top 10 books of 2022 and was a finalist for the 2023 National Book Critics Circle Award in Criticism. With 5 key ideas to unveil, brace yourself for a deep dive into this captivating book on StoryPlanet.net. To start, the text discusses the personal experience of living with mental illness, providing an intimate perspective. It explores the impact on individuals and their daily lives. The distinction between sickness and health is blurred in mental illnesses, making them harder to define. Despite society's decreasing stigma around mental health, treating mental illnesses often overlooks the individual. Through personal stories, this summary explores the intricate factors influencing mental health crises, exposing flaws in current systems and highlighting the fine line between illness and well-being. Above all, the narratives showcase the strength of the human spirit. Key idea number 1. The text is not clear and lacks details for me to provide a summary. Can you please provide more context or additional information so I can generate a summary for you? Rachel Aviv, diagnosed with anorexia nervosa at age 6, experimented with not eating inspired by a fast during Yom Kippur. She was admitted to a hospital's eating disorders unit influenced by older girls who romanticize starvation. Rachel's recovery came after parental visitation was linked to eating meals. Reflecting on narrowly escaping a lifelong eating disorder, Rachel considers the impact of a psychiatric diagnosis on self-identity. Her recovery contrasted with the ongoing struggles and eventual death of an older peer from an eating disorder. Key idea number 2. The text is missing. Ray checked into the Chestnut Lodge Psychiatric Hospital in 1979 due to deep depression after a personal setback. The lodge followed traditional psychoanalysis, but Ray didn't improve. He was later transferred to the Silver Hill Clinic and showed rapid progress with antidepressant medication. Ray ended up suing Chestnut Lodge for not providing drug treatment, sparking a debate between talk therapy and drug intervention in psychiatry. Despite his legal victory, Ray's personal and professional life continued to struggle. His story highlights the complexities of mental illness and the limitations of both psychoanalytic and biological explanations. Key idea number 3. Bapu is a term commonly used in South Asia, particularly in India, to refer to Mahatma Gandhi as a sign of respect. Bapu, a woman from an upper-class family in India, struggled with her unhappy marriage and critical in-laws. She sought solace in her spirituality, desiring to live as an ascetic. Despite being diagnosed with schizophrenia and forcibly treated in hospitals, she continued pursuing her spiritual path. Her family later reconciled with her. Her children, Bhargavi and Karthik, struggled to understand her life, but now appreciate the intersection of her spirituality and mental health. Bhargavi now advocates for cultural narratives in mental health through her non-profit. Bapu's story highlights the cultural, social, and spiritual dimensions of mental illness, often overlooked by Western psychiatry. Key idea number 4. There appears to be no additional text provided. If you can offer more information or context, I'd be happy to help summarize it for you. Naomi Gaines, a black woman from a disadvantaged background, experienced years of trauma and mental health struggles, culminating in a tragic incident where she attempted to save her twin sons by jumping off a bridge. She faced years of punishment and inadequate mental health treatment, including misdiagnoses, during her time in prison. After meeting a compassionate prison librarian who understood her struggles, she now manages her illness and advocates for more holistic and socially conscious approaches to mental health care, especially for marginalized communities. Naomi's story highlights the importance of recognizing and addressing the systemic pressures of racism that contribute to mental health challenges faced by Black women. Key idea number 5. The text, Laura, does not contain any information to summarize. If you can provide more context or details about Laura, I will be happy to help summarize them for you. Laura, growing up in a pressure-filled environment in Connecticut, struggled with presenting a facade of perfection. She was diagnosed with bipolar disorder in 8th grade, but resisted medication at first. Despite admission to Harvard, she battled with her identity, receiving various diagnoses and medications. After a suicide attempt, Laura questioned the efficacy of psychiatric drugs. She gradually withdrew from medication, finding a new understanding of herself beyond labels. Now off medication, she advocates for alternatives to the medical model for mental health, emphasizing the need for a holistic approach that considers societal pressures. In conclusion, psychiatric diagnoses shape identity, but mental illness is complex, involving personal, social, cultural, and political factors. Stories of individuals like Rachel, Ray, Bapu, Naomi, and Laura highlight the thin line between health and illness, the impact of societal context on mental health, and the potential for crafting new identities amidst psychiatric struggles. Thank you for listening to this summary. If you enjoyed this exploration, we invite you to discover other fascinating books on storyplanet.net. Don't wait any longer. A multitude of books, stories, and knowledge await you there. See you soon on storyplanet.net.